I want to welcome everyone back to the channel. I do appreciate those who have subscribed and those who have liked. For those who haven't, please subscribe and like. Come join us along this journey. My next brother here is a very powerful brother. I got a real one here again. They're all real ones, but this one's a little on another level. So I want to go ahead and let you introduce yourself, brother. Oh,
Oh, hi, my name is Dewey Lucas. I'm from the Laytonville Cahto Tribe, and I'm here to represent my family, my people. My father, is Joe Lucas from the Lucases. Finding out even more about them, that they're from over there in, I believe, Point Arena or maybe Kashaya area. I'm just now starting to learn about that and them on that side. And they come from strong people over there, and then my mom was from over there in Lake County, over there by Robinson, and maybe if I'm over there in Kelseyville area, as my aunt was sharing with me, and I'm learning about that on that side, and and then I don't know, I'm still walking this path of doing this work of finding out about my family, my tribal affiliation and my people here in Laytonville and Lake County and Sherwood Valley as well. Oh,
right on, brother. Thank you. And that's one thing that we're all discovering. Everyone knows, or not everyone, some people do know that Fort Bragg used to be the Mendocino Indian Reservation. And once they shut that down, they marched everyone over to Round Valley, and Round Valley became the parent reservation. And during those times, they were taking the kids to Sherman Institute, Southern California, and they were bringing the kids back and giving them different names. They had actually sent my grandmother's dad, over to Laytonville, onto that Laytonville reservation. So, and to be honest, it's difficult for us Pomos natives that were on that Round Valley reservation, our ancestors, to go back any further than that, because they started keeping census about our people in there. So it is pretty cool that we're discovering, that our families going back to the Round Valley reservation and being sent to these different locations. Or in my case, it was Round Valley, Laytonville, Manchester, Point Arena, Kashaya. So we do have strong bloodline as far as the Native American community. The next question I have for you, brothers, what was it like growing up on or off the reservation? So if you want to share with people that don't know about that, because they say the urban Indians is what they call them. They have never been on the res, and they don't know the struggles, and then we don't know the struggles of being an urban Indian. So you want to share a little bit about that, growing up on or off the res? Oh,
okay. Yes, thank you. Well, growing up on the reservation for me, uh, I don't know. It's just it was of course I didn't have these questions till now, but it was just a normal life that I understood, and it was from my experience here, and I've just been reflecting on that lately, and to jump the story too far, but man, it of course it's not like it used to be, and I'm looking at that now in my sober, being sobered up and everything now, but I'm looking at how reflecting back how it used to be, and I didn't realize how good I really had it out here, because it was community, and there was, oh yeah, of course there was alcohol, of course, but it was weird that I looking at that now, but the community back then, they all took care of us. Like we didn't fear the local, some of the old ones that were drinking, and they were different. They didn't scare us. They just did what they were doing, but they still were like a community. We felt safe. I see it now that I would, like, a lot of us children were safe around them, and we watched them and they had fun, and growing up, and I don't know, it just, for me, it didn't like really bother me or anything. It just, I don't know, res life, they say, it just was just normally, people, they've seen them riding around, drinking and whatever. But for me, growing up on this reservation, comes back for me, myself, that I was talked to somebody one day in the rehab, it's this elder old Indian guy who's, and I haven't heard him say it, but you were raised res safe. And I didn't understand that. It's like, cause my parents, oh dude, my dad, real fast, my dad, like I was saying earlier, about 6, 7, I don't know, 8. maybe 9 of the uncles around here were all from. They came back from the war, from the military. So they were like, that's why they were like the protectors here and the uncles. And I grew up around them, and you just like, I don't know, you just didn't mess around as a kid. They just they were just there, and you just knew to behave or whatever, man. It was a trip because these elders and these uncles were all around here yet, and they were holding it down here for us. And then for me and my parent and my mother, you know, uh, they kept me. I couldn't, I was wondering why I couldn't go play with the other guys or the other guys over there or my cousins. And well, my dad, my dad would, he would like, he would scold me and get after me, and he was like, "Get away from over there! What are you doing over there?" And the guys and the local cousins would be drinking and partying, and I got along with them, but I just didn't know. Oh yeah, they would like tease and, "Oh, you better go home. Your dad's gonna, whoop your butt." And I was like, "Hey, I was hanging with the guys," but but I didn't understand it. And I was like, wow, my dad was just hitting an hour, like they were saying. I was raised res safe because I didn't get to go and run around with the locals and the other relatives that didn't have, when their moms or dads were, drinking and stuff. And all the other kids got to just run around wild, like they say. We were running around wild. My dad wouldn't want that. He didn't. I didn't get to go do that with them. So for me, and it's weird growing up because it was different from me as I got older. Like I didn't like fit in with the crew, and I just knew that I grew up with these people, and I wanted to hang with the homies, hang with the Riz crew. And it was just rough for me myself, back and forth, because my mom and dad had me in school. They had me wanting to be educated, wanted me to go do, didn't want me to maybe get, caught up in that, getting the drinking. It was awesome around here that we got into sports, and a couple of my cousins are here that we seen that stuff when we got in that. We were, I don't know, we were always into sports. Our parents back then were in, back then everybody in the community, even in town here, were in, the parents and everybody got involved, and we got us into sports, got us into, just kept us out of whatever. They kept us, busy, taking us places, going to places. I remember we didn't have no dancing groups that I grew up around here, and I remember going to some of our tribes back then. Our tribe, I remember one time, and always remember, they took us up to Hoopa, a busload of us, man, kids, and oh, that was like a dream. We were way up in Hoopa. Our whole tribe went up there and spend, well, I don't know, the weekend up there. All with natives are all up there fishing. I just remember all the salmon. We got to swim in that big river, and man, it was a good upbringing for us. And I'm seeing that now today. It was a good upbringing that our tribes were, our tribe here was involved, and then our aunties, for here in Laytonville, there was like a handful of my aunties or like school teachers. They were involved in the schools down here. See, they were like all teachers' aides and stuff. Even my mother, my aunt, there's like a big handful of ladies, Arlene Lukey, you know, I think Sue Sloan, just and a few of them. There was more, but they were there, and they were all. So we were in part, we were part of the school system, and so the aunties in our reservations, we grew up with them, and they were involved in school. So that was awesome for us too, because I didn't, little Indian boy or whatever, didn't, we got the attention and from those teachers' aides from us, a lot of things I didn't understand going into school and running around. And these aunties from our tribes were there to help us, and they did, and they helped us a lot. And a lot of us here in my generation, we grew up with those aunties in our school system, and my aunt Marilyn, and a bunch, like I said again, these aunties. And I'm just now seeing that, and that was very cool out here. And I think that was very helpful for me in my foundation. And I see a couple of my relatives, my age right now, in that group that we're pretty kind of stable yet. We might have had our rocky roads and ups and downs, our trials and tribulations, but I see for the most of it today, some of us, are back on, kind of getting back on our feet yet. We kind of went through it, and I believe today that was the foundation of our community and our people and our aunties and our uncles that were here for us. That, and I see that more and more every day, and I can feel it. I miss it, and I see it's missing today. And for today, I remember, and I hold on to it today to help me just, and my path today is what I'm looking at is, while I'm here too, while I'm sitting here today is by leading by example, remembering what those ones were doing and, for us, for our community. And I just hope I hope I can do the same, and give back the same way that, the upbringing that we've had here on our reservation, our rancheria is what they call it, Laytonville Rancheria. Oh,
Right on, brother. That's great that you shared that because I remember myself in '88 to the maybe early '90s. Same situation. We could all relate. I had my grandmother's brothers who would come by from Point Arena over to Manchester, tune up and to having a couple cold ones, and I felt safe around them. You know, what I mean, it
mhm,
was community, it was unity, and to be honest, that was the most fun time of my childhood or young boy's life was when the res was one. I remember up the hill, we'd all come together. It would be Junior Logan, Orlando, Victor, Ruben, myself. We would go fishing, we would go hunting, and we would go over to the cross the river and hang out with him. It was all structured in community, and some of that
yep,
kind of went in the wrong direction throughout the years, probably in the '90s, and things definitely have changed on the reservation. You bring in substances like fentanyl, dope and crank and all of that stuff. It changed the whole mentality and environment. So it sounds like you had a good upbringing up there. So, and you had mentioned also that you had a little issue with, I wouldn't say substance, but you had hit the wrong corner. At what age did you decide to go on a separate path and had a bumpy road? If you want to share a little bit about that.
okay. You mean when I started, went down the other road? Is well, when I was sharing that again with you guys with my upbringing, and I just wanted to, don't forget to share this because this was important too. What you just said is what for me, dude. That's all we did. That's weird. I went up and down these creeks with my uncles and trout fished, and when the trout were abundance and the salmon were in our river, and my uncles were hunters and fishermen, and gatherers, like they say, they'd always brought firewood. And I didn't like it growing up as a kid because, and some of my friends wouldn't spend a night with me over because you're like, no, we don't want to spend night because your dad's going to put us to work. Yeah, he did. We had to go stack wood on the weekends, and couldn't go play with the boys. At least I had to go do that first. But that's how my dad had me, and I see today that why he was making me be responsible, being a worker and a and a someone to provider, whatever it is, Nate. Us warriors are today of. I'm learning about the warriors of today. The hunters. The fishermen, the people. Today I don't know why I used to hate doing. I don't say that word hate, but I didn't like doing all this work. But my dad would, but now today, now I know why he did all that with me because now I'm still doing it. I'm getting the wood and the firewood for the old people. It's an honor. It's an honor for me to I say I'm being of service today, and I still get to bring the deer meat. I still hunt. I still fish, and it's an honor to go hunting and fishing and it's a beautiful thing in my spirit. My uncles taught me a good trade, a good thing. They taught me they were good hunters and fishermen. So, uh, you know, I'm just here to because that's just a part of who I am today and how I walk. And it helped me a lot in where I'm at today to get me back on track from when I started, and I lost, well, back what you asked me now. I, I was in high school and we, of course, in school, we start getting high school and we start being young kids, starting to getting introduced to parties and, it's the thing to do because we grew up, we seen all these big parties and it's weird. Like I see that too. Like I didn't realize how come, I was all like ready to thinking I wanted to get out of the reservation. I wanted to move off the reservation, be a basketball star, football, baseball star. I wanted, I had those goals too. And then it's just weird that, but and how and we start going to these softball and watching these, or our like our heroes there in fast pitch and watching softball tournaments and watching all these awesome uncles and playing softball fast pitch. And oh my God, it was just amazing to watch these awesome ball players, and so I grew up just watching that. But then, at the same time too, they would, a lot of drinking, it was big parties after, and it was fun, like you said, and it was, it was awesome. Those people were having, and I don't know, but the alcoholism, I seen them have a lot of fun, but as a kid, I didn't know. I seen all the up front, but I don't know the repercussions of that stuff, after, behind closed doors or whatever. So anyway, with that, I watched that and I didn't realize those were teachers to me, because I just automatically picked that up too. It just weird for just some one day of us, as and I seen my other, students and kids in my school that went to college and moved on, went played sports, and I don't know, I got caught in, on the res, and then just drinking and partying, and that started happening, and then that was like fun, and it was just like here I am, here we are again, and next before I knew it, I was in it. It was like it was automatic. And I was like, it was just like that's was what I back then thought that's just the way the native ways, man, the native life. That's how we do it. But before that, even when I was sharing with you with my mom and dad, my dad was and my uncles here at the lumber mills. They were these guys. Some of these uncles, old ones, were they retired from the lumber mills, and my dad was he was a boss down in Harwoods down there at the lumber mill for 16 years. And so he was a boss there, and a lot of people here in our town, worked out there for a living. The lumber mills were the place, this is how a lot of people make their living here. But anyway, so my mom, she was a school teacher too, and she went out and she wanted to do everything. And my mom just wanted to try it all. And she went out there, from what I understand, she went out there and got her job, and she was working out there when I was about 16, 17. And real tragically, man, one day, she gave us a kiss, and and get up and go to school. And the beautifulest thing ever about this yet to this day I share, and I'm glad you guys I'm shared it with the world, is that you never know, because she always told you she loved you, because that morning, and I heard it, I remember, because her last words to me on this earth was like, told me and my sister, get up, get ready to go to school, get ready guys, and I love you. And that afternoon we heard the helicopters, ambulances, and everything going on out there, and we didn't know we was in high school. We was in school, me and my sister, and it was a tragic day for the whole town community, man. My mom lost her life out there, and she got ran over by a forklift real bad. I mean, it's nasty. And I talk about your world turning upside down, having a family on the reservation, a mom, a dad, me and my sister, we had, doing the family thing. Um, my uncle, man, everybody, it stunned the world, and it's still it's still shocking, and it was a big hit for the community. And I'm not just saying it because I'm her son. I still hear it. People loved her. Everybody loved her. She loved life. She loved her life, and I got numb, I guess, and I dropped out of everything. And my dad went and took care of my little brother, and me and my sister, we split. We just went. I don't know. It was a weird blank. It was a rough 30 years, from I understand, that I was myself was went. I just went numb, and just I was a father at a really young age, and I couldn't hold. I didn't know what to. I couldn't hold nothing. I didn't know where I was at. It was a weird. It was just a numbing stage of life for me for like 30 plus years. And today, here, it's amazing. I'm still here. Oh,
Right on, brother. I thank you for being authentic and being real. That's what it's about. We're telling our story. We're archiving our story in life. That way, our ancestors, great grandkids, great great grandkids, nephews, great nephews, and all that's going to be able to come back and hear our story and stuff. And I do appreciate you being real and authentic about it. That's what it's all about, telling our story our way. Another question I have: about what age were you, or if you don't want to mind sharing your age, you decided enough's enough. I want to go on the right path. And then, yeah, so we'll start with that. So,
Okay. Oh, well, I'm guessing about, I don't know. I didn't grow up. I guess it took me all these years to grow up. I guess I was in my 40s, really. I think in 1987, I asked for help. I kept getting in trouble, skipping up real fast. Oh man, I ended up after whatever. I've been in jails. Everything was, I was car wrecks. You name it. The people that know me know this. I probably made a whole bunch of people stressed out in my life and wondering if I was ever going to live. They knew, and the people around here, my community, didn't know what to say, and I seen them, and I probably traumatized them out for many, many years, and all my loved ones, because I, and even bringing up this rough stuff too, man. I think I was trying to kill myself, just black and white. I was trying to kill myself, but I was too chicken to do it at the same time, and I just whatever I thought I did, and I'm so glad that I didn't, and I'm so glad the Creator didn't let me do that. But like I said, I think about in '87, and I kept just getting, like they say in the program, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. All my relationship, everything, the black cloud was on my in my life. I was like, like I said, it's a miracle that I'm sitting here right now, because everything was dark everywhere I went, everything I did. I just was Everything just didn't. It was just wouldn't. It was just didn't. Going to jails every time, over 30 times in this Mendocino County jail. For even sometimes they would take me even things I didn't really do, you know. And I didn't understand that. But I was just had that energy of just being drunk and everything. And in the Mendocino County shirt, they just knew that, oh, Dewey Lucas, Dewey Lucas. Yeah, and I didn't have to, I just had to be around. I didn't have to do nothing. They just would come and, like, even, I was like, what the heck, and I had to think, and I started getting negative at the world, at the police people. You just down on the Indians and all that. But for me, I'm looking at it today. I think they saved my life. I think they really saved my life by me going to jail all the time when I did, because who knows where I was truly going at every one of those times where I was, and I look at that today, man. I look at that today because I think, the higher power, creator, everybody up there pulling, and because everything is everything, there's no accidents. But I got through this, and then my dad would even call me. My dad would even call, and it was weird that, before he passed, would call me, and before I, sobered up all the way again, he would ask and call me and hear me for a couple of weeks, and he'd like call me, and I'd be hungover or passed out. Finally, I hadn't seen nobody for a couple of weeks, and my dad was like, "Just calling to see if you're still alive." And I was like, "Well, Dad, heck yeah, I'm alive. Why, But that, and I look at that, and I'm like, dang, I see what I done. I know, and I had, I became my worst enemy after that, 'cause I see what I've done, what I've done to my community. What, the community has been set there, and my people had watched me for years doing this destruction of myself, And so anyway, back to that. So I asked, and I heard it was crazy, and I just, like you said, being real, right down the road here, there was a guy that I knew, local here, and I won't say his name, but he was into drugs, shooting needles, and we knew he was, speed guy and drugged out guy, and he was with one of my relatives. And I was 19 years old, and I was over there with him. I ended up, and I started doing drugs, and I was ended up over with him one night, partying with all my high school friends, and they'd all go home, whatever. I was still going rock around res, and started partying with the older, the drug addicts and the old people, and the ones that were doing drugs hard yet. And next, I'm 19 years old, and I'm hanging out with them now. And so I'm out there one night and talking to him all night on meth and talking, and it made me just talk and get sober. Wanted to, oh man, it was like, I found it. I found this drug, this meth was like, wow, I like it because I can drink all night. I can be like sober. Yeah, I like this drug. And it took me, almost felt this happiness or whatever. I felt this euphoria of like life was okay and cool now. But anyway, he was talking to me about he went to three, and I'd always somehow asked him, you know, I was like, I liked powwow, something I like, you know, wanting to know native stuff. I wanted to know native. And he was telling me he went to Three Rivers. He said, man, I went to rehab, Three Rivers. They drum, they take me to powwow. And it's funny, this guy was drugged out and needle guy. And he told me that. And somewhere that read, you know, that stuff that got in my heart, in my head. Because later down the road, when I was getting in trouble again, and, you know, the judges were like, you know, getting tired of me, you know, and the lady at the courthouse, you know, the public defender lady, and I asked her, you know what, I heard about a rehab in Three Rivers, you know, and she kind of reached out there, and an Indian guy she gave me, hold, I forgot his name, but he's a counselor guy, and they got a hold, and then somehow in jail they reached out and they got me into Three River Indian Lodge, and that was the turning point of my life. And I met Fred Short, I met, you know, all these guys, Razzle Dazzle. I met all these people, lifelong friends, and they're still down at Three Rivers Indian Lodge in Manteca. That's, and I Harry Jack and found out about the sweat lodges, and that's my foundation, and that's, you know, what I'm now, where I believe I'm at today, because I see today. I just wanted to, you know, I never, and my grandpa Lucas used to sing all the native Indian songs, but when he was drunk on his wine, and I would look at him, he'd be in a trance. And that's the only time I've seen native medicine, or, you know, Indian medicine, you know, and I know there was roundhouses down here, you know, but I never got invited in. And it was weird, I'll be honest, is I was told to stay away from there. I was told that's, oh, that's not good, and it's, you know, these people doing this and that. No, you stay the heck away from there. So that's another thing on reservations what I grew up with, you know, and I've heard it for years, you know, the superstitions and the people that say, oh, don't go around these ones, don't go around that one, and even clean and sober aunties. I come back from Three Rivers one time, and I was here at a tribal meeting, and I knew it, and I was sober, and I was happy, and I talked to one of the aunties, and I was proud, man. I was all pumped up, man, singing drums, sweat lodging. I'm like, I'm feeling native. I'm really feeling an Indian inside of me now. I'm doing native stuff, and I'm feeling good, and I'm sober. And I asked this lady, and it stunned me. And I was like, yeah, we're drumming. She goes, how you been? Oh my God. I turned behind her. We're doing good. Oh, I love it, man. It's awesome, man. Life, oh, I feel good. We're down there going to powwows, and I'm drumming, and I'm drumming with, you know, with the drum at the powwows, and we're starting a drum circle. And she turns around, she looks at me really, like, really hard, and she goes, oh no, that's not your way. That's not our way. That's not our way. And I went, and it stung me, man. And it was like, I didn't say that, but I didn't even, I got confused again. And I really didn't even start drumming on the drum again for like a month or two. And it just, you know, I don't know, man. And another thing that I share about that, and I finding out today why that might have happened. And I was confused, and that, you know, and I'm learning the history about our people and everything. Well, not too long ago, in that, a lot of people know is that a lot of our aunties and uncles went to boarding schools if they didn't go to military. And then a lot of them got taught the church way, you know. And this lady was, you know, she was a church woman, you know, and she was in the church, and she's a beautiful lady and a beautiful soul. But I didn't understand it. And I was confused as a native man, you know, a young native man that just now got in sobriety into learning, you know, wanting to get into our native cultures. Oh,
Right on, brother. That's your real one. I'll tell you that much. So, I have a few more questions before we wrap it up. What are you doing now to being active in the community? I know you're a dancer. I'll let you share a little bit about that. I mean, for those who don't know, you got your feather dancers, your totoko dancers, then you got your roundhouse dancer, and then you got your other elite dancers, brother. What do you want to share a little bit about what you're doing now? So,
oh, all right. Well, thank you. Well, we're speeding it up a little bit, you know, is I've, you know, been on the red road for I was when I came back in Three Rivers, I relapsed when I came right back. I got a year, I came back, I relapsed. Um got sober, got back on the trail, got in a relationship, and yeah, I got sober on my relationship. I was happy, and you know, became a father again, and you know, wanted to raise my son up, and so I got sober, that sobered me up, of course. I wanted, I got my son, a family. I started my life again. I was down in Coyote Valley, helping all that. I was part of that with the working there, at the casino when it first came. I was working with, Mike Hunter and all of them. We were all young, all together, and that was fun. I was down there 4 or 5 years, and and that, um, didn't work out. So, and I came back and I relapsed again after 3 years, and then I relapsed about 3 times, and I came back, and I got back on track, whatever, got, you know, what relapse stuff do, go back to my old ways, and something again one day when then I got another few years again on, and well, and I didn't know this native. I was in my relapse again, and I was with a biker, and I tell the story, and I'm proud is that this guy was a Hell's Angel, and he knew some of my people up here, and I was younger, but he somehow pulled to me. He liked me, and I was still, and I met him in jail. And this guy was just the beautifulest being, beautiful spirit. I don't know much about as much as what the Hell's Angels, but this guy was a brother, and I see what they're about for me. And then I might spook people out, but that guy, and it was a brother, and he was like a brother that I never had, and it was rough out here in the reservation. Out here in the streets, out here, my own brothers were turned, it's messed up, man. But this guy seen something in me at the bar, and I was tore back, and he looked at me and he goes, "Little brother, I don't want to disrespect you or you know, can I say something to you?" And I was all looked at him like, "What?" The big old guy, and he told me then he goes, "Little brother, man, this ain't you. You need to be doing something for your Indian people. This ain't you, little brother." And I looked at him and I knew inside what I felt. I was angry. I was like, you know what, and I didn't realize it then. Nobody, could white guy tell me that, inside me. I didn't say it to him, but I looked at and I felt it all inside of me, the fire in my heart. No one, because no one teach, no one, no one taught me to be Indian. No one ever taught me how to be Indian. I was angry. I was upset. I was so mad, and I was frustrated inside. I remember staying home that night and still was cussing about that. If and tell me I got to do stuff for my Indian people. Who the f you think you are? Anyway, that guy, and then showed up real fast. Showed up with I don't know, a week, a couple of days, I don't know when, but he showed, knocked on my door, and he looked at him like, whoa. He shows up with a bear hide and a bear drum, and my life, and here I am today. And I didn't know nothing. I followed, and everything was magical. Whoever I found after that was a lady that was over here that's with us. Her name is Delia Jack. She knew about it. Her son was had seen something in me, and he passed on right after that. But he was getting me to his mom and get me over there, and I was like, not doing it. No, no, I don't want to go. She runs sweat lodges. Well, anyway, this is where, and then real fast the story came, and it kept going to magic. I met these people. I met this bear family, and I've been with them ever since. It's been about 14 years sober, and and I'm still here today, and I'm just watching the magic happen. And I don't, yeah, it's been wild to like, I don't even, I'm just following whatever, but my sobriety, and here I am. I'm just following this journey today where I'm at today, and yeah, it's a ride, and it ain't easy. They say, I hear in the program and in this ceremonial stuff that it's not a hard road. I mean, it's not an easy road, and it ain't. It's rough. It's rough out here. Like you said, we get hammered. We got cursed. My own people. You ain't a bear. You ain't, my own people. But I've worked through that because my people. I've been had good teachers to tell me, and I was hurt, wanted to quit and just leave. Man, I'm not this. Why you guys? But what they helped me out was like, to patience with myself and my people. Well, your people have seen you for 30 years, crazy, drunk, wild, nutting up, and now they're watching. But they still see you this, and they're watching you. And that was the beautiful teaching, because the elders were teaching me that and sharing that with me. Yeah, you're right. I see it. Yeah, just patience, and every day, and do I don't know. I'm just following the prayer, I guess they say, and it's still a and it's beautiful today because see, I'm stumbling on my words right now because I don't have the words in English how to express this what's going on in my life today. Oh,
Oh, right on, brother. Thank you for sharing your story about the dancing and stuff. It's very important that we all get grounded into our traditional ways. So, like I stated earlier, you're around a lot of feather dancers. You're around a lot of roundhouse dancers, and obviously, you're at the top of the top. What would you change about what's going on in the world right now of the dance world? Is there anything that you would like to see different? Protocols, maybe people's behaviors, attitudes, anything like that you'd want to give words of wisdom or advice to as an elder statesman?
oh. Well, you know what what I would what I'd like to see more, and it's we all know, and I say this, and I know why I say this lately. A bunch of stuff's been happening, and it's old protocols and stuff, the old ways. But what I'm now, I've been to Brazil. You know, I've been to Brazil a couple years ago, and I got invited over to Brazil to represent the bear and the people of my people. I've been in Hawaii twice over there. They love the bear and they love them, and they invited the native people from our land for whatever. And I couldn't believe I'm. But what I shared, what they shared, and what they seen is this beautiful love and light and of our people representing with this bear medicine, and it's amazing. I know it ain't me. I get to walk with it. I'm just going like they's teaching us. I'm just that hollow bone. But what I'd like to see today, what you asked me, is, and I heard this in Three Rivers. I heard this from an elder that's still there running, a counselor, and he said this in the sweat lodge one day, and I don't know why. How come it just stuck to me? But and now I know why because I'm sure he said this. Just because you dance, just because you get sober and you leave here and you go dance and you get involved with ceremonies and everything, he said this, but that's not going to keep you sober. And that's what I'm seeing today. I've seen, because for myself, you know, it's a lot of work. We still have to do our work every day. We have to do our work. For myself, when I'm sharing, I have to know that I have to be on my, you know, sobriety first because I wouldn't be here talking to you, being wherever I'm doing with the medicines, the bear, you know, is because my sobriety is first, and that's for me. That's for me, and and there's a lot of stuff going out there, and there's a lot of people out there that just got clean and sober, but they haven't done, they're, and it's hard to do your work, and that's one of the hardest things to do. But when I met the people in Brazil, this is that medicine where they taught and they share in this beautiful healing that they do is it takes you to make you do your work. It makes you go and look on at your own self. And I see that now because a lot of people don't want to go to their own traumas. We have traumas as Native people. Our family, all of us have trauma from our ancestors and, from alcoholism and alcoholics, and, the stuff that we grew up with, all the good stuff that I shared you guys with you earlier. There was some nasty stuff that happened at the same time. I watched as a little boy in my red room. I heard on a few times that relatives did get drunk, and the ones that I did say I felt safe with, I we had to jump out of houses and windows, and me and my cousins, and because they came back in violent, scary, and family members, and we know, behind closed doors, and and in ceremonies and whatever we do, we have to do our work. We still have to do. We got to own, and it should be. You should want to, not be forced to. But I do. I want to. I want to. I want to better myself. I want to. I want to clear my spirit and my soul. I want to. I want to clear everything I am before I leave this earth, so I can come to the Creator in a good way. So I want to make my menses here. I want to, like I said, I'm of service, and right now with you guys here, thank you for having me here, so I can. Hopefully, I have the good words to and whatever to share. because we're all here together. We're all in this, like Grandma Aggie say, we're all in this leaky boat together. No color, no one, because we all have trauma. We all have, you know, look at Mother Earth. It goes deep. She's just hanging on because of us out here, man. And we all, it's just, that's what I like to see in ceremony, and if more of us do our work, more of us. And like I said, I can only lead by example. So that means I have to do, everything I'm talking about right now. I have to apply myself to, and it ain't easy. It gets rough. I'm only human. I get frustrated. I get short, but when I see I get like that, and that's what they say, go smudge, go do a sweat, go do something, go talk to somebody, there's, you know, and we as people need to just keep sticking to each other, and still help, do the best we can as much, and that's a rough one, but us as, our relatives, we wouldn't be here today because of our ancestors, that did fight the struggle, the big fight, that, whatever they had to do for us to be here. Oh,
Right on. Thank you, Dewey. I got two more questions for you. So the
yeah.
next question I have is a hero or somebody that molded you that you want to acknowledge, a legend or somebody that you want to say thank you to and pay tribute to. Now's the time. Oh,
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you and pay tribute to you, brother, for doing what you're doing right here. Thank you for doing this right now, right off the bat. I would like to thank you for that. And, everybody else that, that was here before us, the, my uncles, my dad, my other, my people, those men, and that came back from, the veterans. I don't even know where I would be today if it wasn't for my veterans that, were there. They never talked about the war. They came back, and there was just something about these men, that all of them, and they came back, and they were here. We had a big handful of our veterans that came back, and those uncles were here, and like we all kept in line, we didn't get out of line around here. Even like some of the drunkest guys, some of the drunk brothers that really, were wild, they didn't get out of line up around here because they like knew my uncles were around, and they just seemed how to like behave somehow, man. And so yeah, them, and the aunties and all the mamas, and of course, all the love from these, my mother, from my mother, of course, yeah, from my mother, just with all her love and all her heart, and I see that, and then if then I'm not seeing it as a wound, it's a beautiful thing, because she, like I said, she loved, and I see that around now. She loved her life. She loved the life that Creator given her, and all the aunties that I know had passed, and that's why they gave it back to me. And I know where I got that from. But those aunties and those uncles, man, back then had that love for themselves. They had this thing for life, when they were, even, when it was rough. I don't even know how it was even rougher for our people before we came, but somehow they still hold on to our spirit, is now I'm starting to see that our spirit is that powerful. Oh,
oh, right on. The last question I have, it's a little deep one, but at the end of the day,
what was that like?
when it's all said and done, when they say Dewey Lucas, what do you want to be remembered for? Oh,
I'm laughing, but I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one. Um, what I like to be remembered for, that I followed my ancestors' footsteps. That I followed the people that I talked about today. That I followed it in the good way, that the good things that they have done. I heard this brother Chance say over there, in real fast over there in Grindstone, when I went over there one time to a big, and I heard it. He said one time, man, he said, when you leave here and then you go up, and you go up to meet the Creator, he's going to be waiting you at the pearly gates. And then and there, he's going to ask you, what did you do down there for your people? And that is so powerful. And and that's what I want to be remembered. I hope I do. I really do. And you know, it ain't easy because I'm sure there's a few of them and family members that don't feel that way about me. And I sit and I just got. I'm trying to just lead by example, and I just hope that that you know people are okay with me and just see that you know that I'm trying and I'm willing to try and I'm just trying to you know I want them to like say like I shared with my mom. Like, man, when I'm in the casket or wherever, they're gonna like, man, this guy lived. Dewey was living. Don't feel sad for him. Don't you know this or that. But Dan, you know what? This brother was living. That's what I want to be remembered by. Oh,
Oh, oh, I forgot to mention one more. Um,
come on, bring it.
any words of wisdom or knowledge you want to pass on to your grandkids, your great grandkids, your great great grandkids, and so on and so on? Oh,
People say that to me about my wisdom. How you're so wise? I don't know what that. Just don't do the things that I did. I don't know. It'd be a lot better. I don't know. You know, just wisdom. Just I don't know. Love and light. You know, breathe. Uh, life is a blessing, man. Life is it's you know we're not down here too much to be suffering as much as we do, and I don't know. Hopefully we see that. Like again, I just hope that we you know I just hope we see that and everybody that listens to it just to really get that to 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 just flower and bloom out here in the world and you know for yourselves and you know and our you know and for our mother you know the earth and the father sky you know it's important. Oh,
right on. Thank you again. Thank you, Dewey Lucas, for coming on and sharing your story, sharing a little bit about yourself, talking about your journey in life. It's much appreciated. For those who haven't already, please join, tune in, like, and subscribe. And like I always said, if you haven't told those that you love, tell them that you love them today because life goes by way too fast. Let's enjoy this journey of life together. For all the feather dancers, all the roundhouse dancers, and all the bears, let's all come together, enjoy life, and help each other and build a stronger community. We are natives. We are the minorities of minorities. And let's enjoy this life together. Oh.
oh.